Hey everybody. So, kind of a hot topic on and off all season long this year has been John Tavares and Erik Karlsson and where they're going to be playing next year. And it's really come on again as the season winds down and both players are on teams that miss the playoffs. Everyone's been talking about what's going to happen with these players. Are they going to stay where they are? Are they going to move? Are they going to go somewhere else? What's the deal? And I haven't really, Tavares has been talked about pretty much all year long. We've known that he's a free agent this summer. But I haven't really talked about it on this channel at all, and I haven't talked about Karlsson getting traded because I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know either of these guys. I don't have any inside scoops. I don't follow these teams, especially closely. So I have no idea what's going to happen. So why would I? Who am I to talk about it and just speculate and when I have no good information on it and really have no idea what's going to happen? But now, as we get to the end of the season, I think I'm going to talk about them, but I'm going to talk about it from a perspective of what would I do. So, let's start with John Tavares. John Tavares is 27 years old. He's played for the Islanders his entire career up to this point. He's the face of the Islanders franchise without a doubt. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. So July 1, he's on the open market. He is going to get a massive payday because he is an elite forward in the NHL. And he really has been his whole career. But, these next 4 or 5 years should really be the prime of his career. That 27 through 31, 32, that's really like the prime of guys' careers before you get into your mid-30s and start to decline a little bit. So if I'm John Tavares and I'm entering the prime of my career, I want to win Stanley Cups. I'm ever since he's come to the Islanders, they've missed the playoffs a bunch of times, including this year. They've made the playoffs a few times, but they've never gotten past the second round. And they've only gotten to the second round once, a few years ago, and then they lost to Tampa. They've made no deep playoff runs while John Tavares has been in New York. Their defense has always been suspect his entire time there. They've put some decent forwards around him, but their defense isn't good. Their goaltending is a disaster. They've not been able to find a franchise goalie. And they've really not even been able to find a good goalie. They get, Thomas Greiss a couple years back had a really good run, but it was very short-lived. Jaro Halak sometimes was good, sometimes was horrible. They've been extremely inconsistent. They have not found a real franchise defenseman, and they haven't found a franchise goalie either. So if I'm John Tavares, do I really want to keep waiting around for Gosh Snow to get his crap together and put a decent team out there? I don't know if I'd want to wait for that. The only thing that the Islanders really have going for them is Matthew Barzal. He's unreal. That kid is the real deal. And if I'm Tavares, I might look at that and be like, wow, he's a superstar. If I can play with him, then this team's going places. But that still doesn't fix the problems on the back end or in net. Also, you have the arena situation. The Islanders were on Long Island forever, and then they moved to Brooklyn and play in that awful Barclays Center, and it's terrible. And after only a couple years there, they're already moving back to Long Island, but that project is going to take a while, and they're probably not going to be playing at their new arena for another 4 or 5 years. So is the new arena that big of a pull to bring Tavares back? Because it's not going to be ready anytime soon. He's still going to have to play in Brooklyn for a while, and Next year, I think they said that they were going back to Nassau Coliseum for a few games, which that's better than Barclays, but it's still not the new arena. So, when the Islanders announced that they were gonna have, build this new rink, everyone's like, oh, that should help bring Tavares back. But the rink's not going to be ready anytime soon. So does it really help that much? If I'm John Tavares, I'm hitting the open market. There is no doubt about it. The Islanders have consistently shown that they're inconsistent. They can't put a great team together. They can sometimes make the playoffs, sometimes they can't. When they do make the playoffs, they're usually one and done. So if I'm an elite NHL forward going into the prime of my career, I want to win Stanley Cups, and I don't see the Islanders winning Stanley Cups anytime soon. So if I'm John Tavares, I am hitting the open market and signing somewhere where I think I can win Stanley Cups. Even if I have to take a little bit less money, I want to win. And that's where I would go, somewhere where I think I can win either now or in the very near future. What's he actually going to do? If I had to guess, I think he's going to hit the open market. Because I think if he was going to sign with the Islanders, the deal would have been done already. And I just think he's going to hit free agency and see what kind of offers he gets from who and what kind of money he can get. And it's going to be a lot because he is an elite forward in the NHL. Now Erik Karlsson. Erik Karlsson's in a little bit different situation. He's also 27. He'll be 28 in May. But he has one more year left on his contract. He's not a free agent. The talk around Karlsson is if he gets traded or not. So he has one more year left, making $6.5 million, and then after next season he'll be a free agent. He also has a modified no-trade clause, which he can submit a list of 10 teams that he doesn't want to be traded to. So if I'm Erik Karlsson, what do I want to do? Do I play out last year of my contract, and then hit free agency, or do I go to ownership and management and say, please get me out of here. I don't want to play here anymore. Well, he has a lot less control than Tavares does, obviously. Big difference when you're a free agent. So Ottawa is only going to make this move if they can get a massive return for him, two first-round draft picks, elite prospects, They're not going to make this move unless they get a ridiculous haul in return. Will teams give up a ridiculous haul for Erik Karlsson? I know I would, but only if I was, assured that he would sign long-term with my team. That's the only way I would give that up. So we could see a sign-and-trade type thing where he signs a long extension and then immediately gets traded, or he gets traded under the assumption that he'll sign there and then a deal gets done and he's locked up long term. But I don't think there's any chance that Karlsson signs with Ottawa when his contract's up at the end of next year. So if that gives Ottawa a bit of an incentive to trade him and at least get something in return, and you're going to get a lot for a guy like Karlsson, rather than keep him this offseason, play next year, and then just lose him in free agency. So I definitely think that he gets moved before he becomes a UFA. However, I don't know if it happens this offseason. I think he might be moved next year. It could happen at the draft, and there'd be a lot of draft pieces being moved along with the trade. But I don't know. He's gonna be a huge cap hit. He's gonna be a lot more than 6.5 when he signs his new deal, and there's only a certain number of teams that can take on that kind of cap hit. And I don't know how much. Do you really want to give up, your entire future, because for one guy. I know, and Karlsson is one of the top 3 defensemen in the league. So yes, you would do a lot to get him, and I would give up a lot to get him. But is a team going to pull the trigger on a deal this offseason when there's a chance that he could be a complete UFA and you give nothing up to get him next offseason? I don't know if I'd take that risk, although I don't think he gets to free agency. Ottawa would be out of their minds to keep him through his contract, because I don't think there's any chance he re-signs there. He's another guy that I would think wants to win in Ottawa. They had a great run last season through the playoffs, almost going to the finals, but I don't see them getting back there anytime soon. They've got major problems, especially in net. Craig Anderson has had a terrible year this year, and I don't think it's going to get much better. I don't think that they have a real elite goalie prospect or anything that is coming up, so they have got major problems at goaltending, and you're not going anywhere in the NHL unless you have good goaltending. So I don't think Ottawa is going to be good anytime soon, and I don't think Karlsson wants to be there. If I'm Erik Karlsson, I really am hoping that I get traded, but and I think he will, because I think Ottawa would be nuts to keep him through and let him become a free agent. You've got to get something in return for him. So that's just what I think about the Tavares and Karlsson situations. Obviously, Tavares has a lot more control over his future than Karlsson does, because Karlsson's still under contract for another year. But I definitely think Tavares signs somewhere else, and I definitely think Karlsson gets traded. I just don't know if it will be this offseason or during next season. That's just what I think, and that's pretty much it. So like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. Links in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.